The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show. Seeking super smart, super talented superheroes. How to be wow over the world and all around. The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show.
Hello everyone, this is Shantae Schrader, and welcome to the show where we seek out the super smart, super talented, and basically the superheroes who are taking over the world and making it super wow. And today we are talking with the CEO of Fantasy Dating, Suzanne Casamento. Now let me first tell you a little bit about Suzanne. She is the founder of Fantasy Dating, and she created Fantasy Dating after getting tired of hearing her single girlfriends complain about their boring love lives. Since then, they have all dared to date. Suzanne is a dating expert, writer, and speaker living in LA, and her mission is to empower singles to take chances, build confidence, and find love. And we couldn't be more excited to have Suzanne with us today. Suzanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited too. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's first talk about you.
So this all came about a few years ago. I actually had a corporate job, and I had a nice corporate paycheck and a nice corporate house, and and life was great. And I lost my job, and then I lost my house, and I sort of had this. I lost my identity. And I wasn't really sure who I was supposed to be. You know, if I wasn't the smart girl with the good job and the nice house, you know, who was I? So it took a long time to find work, and I did a serious reevaluation, and I'd always been a good cook, so I started cooking for people. And my friend was kind enough to take me in. He gave me an extra bedroom in his place, and so I went from owning a home in the Hollywood Hills to moving into his extra bedroom in a mobile home park. So it was like, yeah, complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Soul-searchy stuff. Like, let's dig deep here.
Yes, really, really digging deep. And I began waiting tables at 36 years old. I was terrible at it. I dropped a burger on the first day. It didn't get any better. So I just was trying to do anything I could, really, to make money. So I started cooking for people, and I was cooking for a wealthy family a couple nights a week, and there was a night when I realized I went from hiring the help to becoming the help, and it was interesting. I had a lot of introspection, and I just sort of realized that I had an opportunity to go anywhere from there. And at the same time, my girlfriends were complaining over and over and over, there are no good guys in LA, and we're never going to meet anybody, and which was ridiculous. So so I kept saying, it's not that hard, just go up, say hi. And they'd say, we can't do that. And so I said, well, what if I dared you? And then I had an aha moment. I thought, how could we make this into some sort of dare? How could we turn this into a competition? And that's when I had the idea for FantasyDatingGame.com, where basically it's a play on other fantasy sports. Just like in fantasy football or fantasy baseball, you form leagues, you set stakes, and you compete against each other to earn points. And so when you fantasy date, you earn your points by dating. I know, it's insane.
I know, but I love it. I love all of that. I mean, as soon as you said, like, fantasy football, I'm like, oh, okay. That puts it all together for me. Okay. Now, before we jump into that, okay, so you see this need. Now, how long ago was it that you know, this aha moment came for FantasyDatingGame.com?
The aha moment came in 2009.
Okay.
But at the time, I was waiting tables and making, I had absolutely no resources. So it took a long time to start saving and really put together the money and start doing the research on even how to start a business, how to create a website. I had no idea how to start. So I did a lot of research, and we finally launched the website in April of 2012. So it took about 3 years of research, dreaming, scheming, saving, and creating.
What did you learn, though, in those? Because so often, I mean, people do launch things, and I mean, they don't take the time to do the research. So what did you learn in those years?
I learned that it's really important to find a good web designer. A good web designer does not have to cost ridiculous amounts of money. I have a great web designer, and he's highquality.com. They're in New York, so we might as well plug them. Great, great design, and totally reasonable cost, and also, Hi, who's in charge of the business there, really walked me through step by step. It's really important for me. I need a little hand holding. I need my expectation set as far as, well, we're going to do this first, and then it's going to look like this, and then we're going to do this. And I need that step by step. Mm-hmm. So that was really important. I also learned you do not need high-priced lawyers to set up your business and trademark and all of those things. That there are other ways to do that for less money. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what else I learned. Let me think. I learned that social media is exhausting, and social media can take all day long. You could work at it 16 hours a day and not be done. It's incredible. And it's very powerful.
Very powerful. So maybe zero in on one or two and
mm-hmm. And yes, absolutely.
Spend some time. Now, as far as being a dating expert, clearly you had some expertise that your girlfriends did not have. Where did that come from?
That, thank God, just came naturally.
Awesome. Not like serving a hamburger, but
yeah, not like serving a hamburger. Very bad waitress, excellent flirt.
Oh, see, that is a life skill. I think that's an incredible life skill. But tell us more about that. Where do you think that kind of came from, and what's evolved from there?
Sure. I think the most important thing when it comes to dating is confidence. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to create confidence and gain confidence if it doesn't come to you naturally. But, the people who are the most outgoing, those people who walk in the room and the whole room just lights up, those are the people that everyone wants to be near and everyone wants to date. It doesn't even matter, what you look like. It's about the energy you give off, and it's about that excitement that you carry with you everywhere you go. And thankfully, that's something that I just have had my whole life. I think I got it from my mother. She's definitely the person who she can make everyone feel good. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's just sort of a natural thing. But it's really important to flirt. And I don't mean throw yourself at somebody, but I mean, make eye contact and smile. Put your phone away. Just be available. Don't cross your arms over your chest. Don't, stare at the floor. Keep your head up, shoulders back. Things like that. It really says a lot about who you are and how you feel about yourself. And I think that definitely, that energy that you carry is what attracts other people to you ultimately.
Love it. Now, let's talk a little bit about, girls who do think, well, I'm not supposed to be the one to approach. I am in that feminine role, and I'm supposed to be able to hang back, and they approach me. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's fine. I think, if that's the way you truly feel, then that's the way you feel, but you have to give them a sign. I mean, men are not mind readers. And again, if you're looking at the floor or you're staring at your phone, you're not going to give them any vibe that you're remotely listening or interested. Mm-hmm. So, get caught looking. Just again, have open body language. Smile, say hi. Just be approachable. And if you're approachable, they'll approach. It's when you're not, that whole theory of, they have to come and approach me, that doesn't work. Uh-huh. If you seem like an angry person who's not open.
Yeah, that might send off some signals like, please don't approach me or I will bite your head off.
Definitely, but people don't really realize that they're doing it. There are some people who have they really don't realize that their energy is so tense, or negative that, that's what's blocking people off. It's really interesting.
Now, why do you think it is that we take these things so seriously when it comes to dating?
Oh gosh, you just hit such a pain point, because it really isn't that serious. Mm-hmm. It's so important not to take it personally. If you have to look at dating as a numbers game. If the goal is to get the ultimate win, and find true love, you have to work at it. You have to look for it. Mm-hmm. It's the only area of our lives where we're shy about doing that. You look at people, you need a job, you go out and you find a job. You're hungry, you go out and you buy a sandwich. I mean, everybody needs love. Everybody wants love. But we feel very self-conscious and uncomfortable with the idea of actually going after it. And so when you become proactive about finding love, and, you use your tools, whether that's online dating or matchmakers or speed dating or, fantasy dating and a combination of all of it, that's when you start to see results. Because if you're sitting home on your couch every Saturday night eating Ben and Jerry's, watching the Real Housewives marathon, you're not going to meet anybody.
Or anyone of high quality.
Exactly. I mean, the man of your dreams isn't going to knock on your door unless you invite him over.
Oh, man. Okay. So in your expertise, you just mentioned a number of different platforms and ways to meet people. Let's start breaking those down when it comes to using dating sites, to meet people. Are there good ones, bad ones, or is it just your approach always?
I think it's always your approach. I mean, some are definitely known for different things. Mm-hmm. I've had some players who've had experiences where they've used Match.com, and they found that to be a little bit more of a, quote unquote, kind of hookup site, versus like an eHarmony. Mm-hmm. On eHarmony, people seem to be a little bit more serious and a little bit more about, finding love and a life partner versus, other sites that might be just, where people are more interested in just sort of hanging out. And it all depends on what you're looking for. I mean, some people just want to date and have a good time and meet different people and, enjoy, and that's great. It depends on what your ultimate goal is. Some people, are absolutely, absolutely want to get married, and that's the ultimate goal, and so, it really depends on what each individual wants. Mm-hmm. But all of those tools are great, because again, if it's a numbers game, the more people you meet, the more chances you have of meeting the one that's right for you. So, speed dating is a great alternative. It's really fun. It can be really funny. And matchmaker services are great too. And they're dating coaches. I mean, there's so many resources out there. It's amazing.
So if I go to fantasydatinggame.com and walk me through how it is that I get to start playing, like actually make this fun. This idea of getting out there and creating deers.
Okay. So basically, you go to fantasydatinggame.com and then create a profile name.
Okay.
I mean, a profile, and then on it, you can put up a picture of yourself, and if we don't ask you for, ridiculous amounts of information. We don't want your address or your phone number or anything like that. It's a very quick and easy process. It's not like a 500-question questionnaire. And so from there, you can use a zip code finder to find people in your area who are also interested in playing the game. You can play with them, or you can invite a bunch of your friends to come on and then create your own league and then play together. And then if it's a situation where, let's say you live in a small town in the suburbs and there aren't any single people around and you want to meet new single people, you can just join a public league on the site, and you can make new friends virtually and play virtually. So it's kind of cool in that it's also a friend finder. Mm-hmm. You can either come with your friends or you can make new friends. And then it's all about the competition, because when people actually start playing, they go crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, Jenny is 20 points ahead of me. So I went up to this guy. I mean, it's crazy the things that they do when they get competitive. They really start taking chances and introducing themselves to people in line at Starbucks, at CVS, at the dog park. There's a girl, one of the girls met a guy at the gas station while pumping gas, and then they went for drinks from there. It's about, playing the game everywhere you go, and that's where the fun and the competition really starts, and it's just a blast.
So you start, you accumulate points for, are there a set number of things that you need to do, or are these things that people are putting out there as dares?
You accumulate the points, so you get 1 point when you exchange numbers with someone. You get 2 when you get a text, 3 when you get a call, 6 when you go on a date, and then you get another point for the quote-unquote field goal, the extra point when you hear from your date, when they call or text to say, hey, I had a great time, You get that extra point. And so there are forums where you can brag about, your amazing plays or your amazing dates, and you can also talk smack with your league mates, and it's a lot of fun.
Now,
and then we put dares out there. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no, go with that.
Yeah, so we generate dares on Twitter. So you can find us at Fantasy Daters, and we generate a lot of dares. Sometimes it's compliment a stranger, and they're on those little e-cards, and then it says share the dare, and then people will share the dare. Or it's Friday night, break out your stilettos, or give them the look, or put a little dip in your hip, crazy things like that. But it's like we issue the dares all the time, so they're floating around.
Love it. Okay, now, and what are the feedback that you're getting from people?
We're getting great feedback. People are really, really having a lot of fun. They love the competition because it takes that discomfort, it takes that fear out of it. When you're 10 points ahead behind someone, you're not going to be so afraid to walk up to someone and compliment them on their watch or say hi and introduce yourself. So it's really building a lot of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And we also hear that they're combining a lot of other tools. So people will do online date and fantasy date, because any contacts you make, any dates you go on, using another site, using an online dating site, you still get the same amount of points, fantasy dating. So a lot of players are using multiple tools, and they're having a lot of fun with that. We've had, like I mentioned, the girl who met someone at the gas station. There was another. This is so great for single moms. Oh, that just came to me. Sorry, but we had one single mom who was so scared. So she was going to her son's t-ball practice, and she, noticed this guy, and was so scared to talk to him. She signed up to Fantasy Date, and that gave her the courage to walk up to him. And I think her opening line was something like, well, which one's yours? And they started dating, and they've been dating for months now. And she never would have had the courage to walk up to him had she not been playing. So it's really cool.
I love that you've repositioned it so you take the heaviness out of, because it's like, okay, I'm approaching this guy, and really in the back of my mind, I'm trying to get points. And so you take that heaviness, and I swear that's way more attractive for them, because they're not like, oh my gosh, this person is like, please like me. Because it's like, okay, if you don't respond, I'll just find someone else.
Yes.
And that's probably that confidence of like, you just reel them in that way.
Absolutely. Like, one of our dares is dare to get rejected. Because the more times you get rejected, it means you're trying. Mm-hmm. And again, don't take it personally. If that person rejects you, that's just the universe making room for the right person.
Let's talk about rejection, because that really is, I think I read somewhere when it comes down to rejection is one of our biggest fears. And it goes back to like survival, thousands of years ago, where to be rejected meant, it was the difference between life and death. And we still just kind of carry that with us. And there's a lot of things that you can do, like you can just like have your breathing techniques, but I'm wondering if that play, that putting the wonder back into something like that is really kind of the superpower behind it, because otherwise you're trying to intellectualize something that really you can't create certainty or intellectualize. What are your thoughts when you talk to your clients about rejection, that feeling, that fear?
Well, it's what we talked about earlier. You just can't take it personally. If it's a numbers game and it's something you really, really want, you kind of have to change your slant and change your whole view of it, and really consider the rejection to be a positive. Because okay, well, I tried, and next, I mean, here's the thing: if that person isn't interested in you, well, then that person's a dummy, first of all.
True.
I mean, you have to keep it in that frame of mind, because if we focus on the rejection, we'll never find love. We'll never try. That's the reason why the people are on the couch every Saturday night, eating the Ben and Jerry's, and you know how you get in a rut. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had players who started fantasy dating and hadn't been on a date for a year or 2 years or 3 years prior to that, because we get so used to it that becomes the normal. And it's more comfortable to stay home rather than go out there and get rejected. So the whole competition angle of it, and the whole idea of turning it into a fun, competitive game, it does ease the rejection. It does show you that, well, it's okay. You know what? That guy doesn't want to go out with you, but you're still all right. You're fine. You're still breathing. You're still walking, and it's just making room for the right guy. So it does help, sort of, with the sting of it.
Well, and plus you can say, look at all these other points I have. Clearly, I'm not that bad.
Exactly. See, you got it.
You focus on the good, and I mean and that's just human nature. So I think that's, you can get so many yeses, and the one no is what you kind of dwell on. And maybe especially for women, you're just like, oh, I'm not ... whatever enough.
I know, it's hard, but that's interesting too. What you just said about, I'm not. We do this thing when we get into those ruts where we tell ourselves these stories about why we're not dating. Mm-hmm. So, like you just said, I'm not, and usually it's I'm not good enough. And so we tell ourselves these crazy stories. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to find anyone. Like my girlfriends were saying, there are no good guys in LA. There are 9 million people here. You cannot tell me there are no good guys in LA. I mean, I was meeting them left and right. I don't know why they weren't. So, I mean, so that's just a story that they're telling themselves. And we're so used to telling ourselves these stories. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. And then it becomes these excuses of why we're not dating. Well, I'm going to wait until I lose that 10 pounds. And after I lose that 10 pounds, then I'll put up an online dating profile. Or, and we tell ourselves these things, but this game doesn't allow for any of those excuses or any of those stories. You just have to get out there and do it, or you lose.
Love it. Okay, so let's also, I had another thought that was, let's talk about men in particular. From what I know, I was raised with 5 brothers, no sisters.
God bless you.
Yeah. And when I think about men, I think that more than anything, they love to know there's a sense of play, a sense of fun, in your personality. That is like one of the most attractive things. And we all think, well, there's so many beautiful women. How am I supposed to compete? But really, most men, it's like if they know that they can better their lives, have more fun, laugh more, they're hooked. Is that how you feel?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And again, it goes back to what, we were talking about earlier, and about that energy you bring with you, into the room. They're looking for that energy. I mean, the great guys, and I'm sure you have lots of guy friends, or your brothers, or, whoever. But I know a lot of men who are really attractive men who are, who are with women who may not be that physically attractive, but who are so hot because they're so cool,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is. It's about that energy and that personality. Absolutely. They want fun. They don't want to be bored,
Exactly. And so I would say the way you approach it is I mean, and they don't even have to know. It's kind of like your little secret of like, which is way more intriguing. I'm visualizing this like playing out in so many different scenarios right now in real life.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, and you're absolutely right, because by being able to approach a man, then you're that fun girl,
Mm-hmm.
And so you score instantly that way. Totally true.
Love it. Now, what else? What else would you, suggest to women? Maybe the first time they're going to approach someone and they are nervous.
Just ask a question. There's so many things that you can do. Just ask a question, and it's so easy. I mean, you can be at the supermarket, and you could be in the produce section, and you could say, "Do you really think it's worth it to buy organic?" I mean, I just ask any kind of question. Go out. Just go out. Get off the couch. The most important thing to do is be in places where there will be men around. And summer is the perfect time for that. There are community events everywhere. I mean, there are carnivals and fairs and concerts and, fireworks shows and baseball games. I mean, baseball games. There is no better place to meet a guy than a baseball game. You're outside. There aren't that many girls there. You're in the stands, and there are men all around you. And all you have to do is go, "Oh, I missed that play. What just happened?" I mean, it's not easy, I mean, just get out there and engage. Don't be afraid to have a conversation.
Love it.
It's the simplest. Yeah.
Love it.
Good.
I love it on so many levels. Now, what is next for you and for fantasy dating?
Well, we're just growing it as much as we can, I mean, the whole goal is to just empower as many people as possible, and dare them to get into the game. What's so great about it is that we have heard from a lot of players that the confidence that they gain from playing this game really kind of seeps into other areas of their lives. People then are feeling more confident all around, more confident at work, more confident with, relationships that they may have had family strain with or something like that before. They're just feeling more confident all over. And if we can create a more confident, happy society, I will be absolutely thrilled.
Oh. Yes, and I think that would also, as they're dating, it would just set a different tone. I mean, from the very start. But that sense of play, I love all of it. Now, if people want to find out more, they can go to fantasydatinggame.com. And we will make sure to have all the URLs, but there's also, you have a Facebook page, so it's facebook.com fantasydatinggame. There's also on Twitter, which is Fantasy Daters.
Yes.
And you have a YouTube channel. So tell us what you share on the YouTube channel.
We do. We have a YouTube channel. We actually created a video over the winter, and it's hilarious. And it's basically it kind of shows two girls playing the game, and how they go from we're never going to meet anyone to crazy competitions and just dating everywhere they go. And it's really fun. And we also have another video on there from players, and it's testimonials, interviews of them, how they feel about fantasy dating and how it's made a difference in their lives. So it's a lot of fun.
Love it. And I encourage all our listeners to go check those out because, like Suzanne's saying, it's growing. all the time. So get in now, get involved. Now, Suzanne, if people want to reach out to you, you are an expert in dating. Do you coach people or anything like that? Okay, wonderful. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you if they just wanted some more one-on-one?
They can email Suzanne at fantasydatinggame.com.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing and for building this fun new approach. I don't think I've never heard of anything like this before.
I know, and I'm so excited about that.
I know. I mean, that's really, when it comes to love, it seems like so many people are interested in it. It's probably like, oh, there was an untapped area of that. And I just think the play and the lightness of it is just, there was a huge gap there, the more and more I think about it. So, love it. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. To our audience, thank you for listening. Now get out there, build something beautiful. Until next time, take care.